Welcome to another episode of the Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast, your mid career professional podcast. I'm one of your co hosts, Dr. Dave Peltz, and along with me is my esteemed colleague, Dr. Joe Hamlett. How are you doing today, Dr. Joe?
I'm doing pretty good. Sounds like you were stumbling a little bit on what we're doing here.
Yeah. What are we doing here? What are we trying to accomplish today?
Yeah.
We'd like to thank all of our viewers and listeners for joining us on another episode of the Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast. If you're new to the podcast, we hope that you enjoy it, find some humor in it, which apparently my stumbling is probably already fulfilling that box.
Right.
And if you're returning, thank you again for your support and continued encouragement for us to keep on going with this podcast. We have over 200 episodes.
Yeah.
We're in our fifth season, so let's get this ball rolling and have some fun. Today's topic is how exploration leads to growth. Dr. Joe, tell us a little bit about how exploration leads to growth.
You know, years ago, I wouldn't imagine this made much difference. Again, I'll go back to when my intentional journey started back when I went back to school in 2004. So wow, that seems like a long time ago now, 22 years ago when
You're
this journey
ancient,
started.
man.
I know. I mean,
You're a
and, and and
dinosaur.
and well, and to think I'm only 42 years old, so it's just like
Right. You're a high speed, low drag.
but yeah, it really goes back to thinking about that because up until that point, just living life normally, just again doing the things I'm supposed to do as a responsible adult, but not really considering anything beyond that. And so I think that was the biggest eye opener or my first opportunity to explore uh, growth in any way. And that was when I decided to go back to school. And that's really the biggest thing that came for me was that exploration of things that I could achieve, exploration of the unknown and how that could help me to grow. So it really, when people ask me, what was my biggest takeaway from going or starting this journey, and that's really what it was, the exploration of who I could become or what was in store for me or how I could change that. And that's why I really like this topic today, just talking about, how that exploration, because that's really what it was. It came down to me doing that, critical self reflection, thinking about where I was and where I was trying to go. It all started with that. And then once I recognized, hey, I am trying to go somewhere, what do I need to do to get there? And that's when I really started to hone in on, well, I don't know a lot of things. And again, that's what really sparked my interest on, well, if I do this, learn more about this is going to help me here. This is going to help me there. And that's exactly what happened. Because not just, only did I have success in the classroom as far as exploration, I started having success outside of the classroom and in my family life, in my personal life. And so it just changed so many things for me to recognize that exploration, to recognize that, embrace that exploration. And that's one of the common things I share with people, especially when, coaching or mentoring them. And I ask them, hey, even if they're in a career that they love, enjoy, are you doing any exploration? Are you trying to grow? Even again, if you're loving the career you're in, the job you're in, the organization you're with, are you exploring to grow? Are you doing anything any more than just required of you? I'll stop it right there.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack. I mean, you took us through a big journey, and that's really one of the cool things that I love about how you share. I mean, you're very transparent about, and about your journey. And I think for me, you know, how exploration leads to growth is sometimes out of necessity, out of survival,
Agree. Yep.
and I can see how that would translate to you and your story. There was a need for survival or growth that you felt, and you went down that path. And I think um, exploring starts with curiosity. You know, you mentioned critical self-reflection. We mentioned that a lot, but sometimes it's just curiosity. I wonder about this. I wonder about that. You know, we can put it in terms of something that nobody ever does now, and that's shop online, right? We all shop online, and you know, exploring different products and quality versus cost, or what can this widget do that this one doesn't, and exploring that which thing is better, which thing is not is worse, and and then exploring and researching it, and there's some enjoyment that comes out of it. um, and with that, comes growth. I think I just repeated myself there. So, you know, there's kind of that inherent necessity that we as human beings have towards exploration. From going from one continent across this vast ocean in a little wooden bucket, you know, and saying, I wonder how far this thing will go, and there's no end in sight. It's like, well, we went as far as we could, and the boat's sinking. Well, what do we do now? Well, keep exploring, keep going further, keep going further. And without that exploration, we wouldn't be as a society where we are, the things that we've accomplished individually and collectively. So for me, I think my journey with exploration started with curiosity, and it wasn't so much about education at that time. It was about what can I learn to do myself to be more self-reliant, be more independent as a problem solver, as a fixer, as a creator. And that's really where my exploration led to growth. I can give one example. When I was in high school, actually when I was in junior high school, I took an art class, and the teacher said, it's absolutely horrible, you'll never be an artist, you're wasting your time. And then my senior year in high school, I did an oil painting, a realistic oil painting of a face, and I got a scholarship for college. I didn't use it, but that's the exploration of growth in just a couple of years, how I evolved from someone telling me that I wasn't good enough, give it up, to just knocking out of the park. I mean, that was a personal thing. It was
Right.
just because it was fun for me to explore that. How far can I push myself, and what can I achieve? And we can look at that in athletics or personal care, going to the gym. And I started out bench pressing 10 pounds, and now I'm up to 140. That's exploration.
Right.
That's pushing
Right.
yourself to the limits. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about exploration and growth, is that it teaches you how to push your own limits.
Right. Well, I think the one of the words you said I think is very important in this whole idea of curiosity or actually exploration, and it is the word curiosity, because it is, again, going back to that childlike state where everything you're curious about everything. It's not until adults start telling us, oh, you can't do that, that
Right.
this is why, and we get stifled a lot of times because someone else is dictating or controlling that outcome versus
Yeah.
you getting energized again by really peeking or digging into your curiosity again, and then from there it just continues to grow because you get opened up to a whole new world of things that you were unfamiliar with or you knew about but didn't know enough about it for it to impact you. You see it every day, and you finally say, hey, I'm going to go check that out. I'm going to take a different route today and go check out down what's in this neighborhood. And you realize, oh my goodness, these are some beautiful homes. Just something as simple as that. You're opening your mind. I love this, is just to open your mind to the possibilities
Mhm.
of what it could be, where you could go. And that's why I love the idea of exploration. You touched on, just right now, the media that's out there, the information that's out there, you can learn about just about everything.
Mhm.
Anything you're interested in, you could learn about it. I mean, that's one benefit that we have today that we didn't have maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago,
Mhm.
is just access to so much information. If we even think about, me and you transitioning from being a adjunct professor to authors, and then you said it, content creators. But it all started with us having that curiosity and exploring the opportunity to be podcasters. And
Hmm.
now, as you stated on, at the very beginning of the podcast, we're into our fifth season. And it all started with that exploration of what is this? What could this lead to? And now it's changed over the past, 4+ years, 220 plus episodes,
Hmm.
that we're now doing this on a regular basis. And again, we had no idea about this 4.5 years ago, or almost five. So that exploration of where this could take us, how we could grow with this, and we have. We've met a lot of people. We've had a lot of opportunities to do different things, got business out of it or work out of it. So just being curious, exploring, what if
Hmm.
that, if we go down this path, where is this going to lead?
And you just identified that first piece of curiosity, and that's asking the question, what if, how come, why not? It's people telling you that cannot be done, that won't work, or you saying, I'm going to try this. What can I do differently to create an object that we can put a person in to fly like a
Right.
bird? You know, it, 100 years ago, people were like, well, human beings can't fly. They don't have wings.
Yep.
Well, you don't have to have, well, you don't have natural wings, but let's create wings so we can fly. Oh, we can
But
fly now.
well,
Hey, what
I
about the
think you.
moon? I want to go up there. You can't
Well,
do that. Let's explore it.
Well, I think you brought up a very good point that, maybe often overlooked is the fact that somebody's probably already done it this way before, but you adding to that curiosity or exploration to add more to it. Like you
Mhm.
said, you start with the airplane, we're not supposed to fly, then we're flying to the moon. And then, so
Now we're
it
beyond
starts
that.
exactly. And it starts with that first question, what if? Why can't we? And then continuing down that path, because you could continue to explore, continue to go down that rabbit hole, so to
Mhm.
speak. So it could go from, again, just an initial idea, doesn't exist today, or does exist, but maybe we use it in a different way.
Right.
So again, that's the beauty of having all this information at our fingertips, that we can go back and, maybe look at some of the mistakes that were made, or some of the tools that they use, and maybe we try different tools. It's
Mhm.
just, again, opens your mind, starts to spinning when you really think about how you can, explore something that is going to benefit you in a way that you grow, that you develop, that you continue moving forward. I just want to jump in there again. You just
Yeah.
sparked that whole idea of
Yeah.
even people, have already done this in the past. They didn't do it like you, or,
Yeah.
you're not them. So it still leaves it open to,
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we've talked about before is when an organization or individual says, well, I've already tried that. That won't work.
right. Yeah.
Don't waste your time with it. And you think to yourself, I can do this. It's
Right.
a different approach. It's that different
Yeah.
lens or perspective. And that's a really cool thing. And again, with exploration and curiosity, explore things that that may be different. Different tools.
Yep.
I, my son's told me about, hey, Dad, have you tried this? And I'm like, what? What is that? Do they have those things? He goes, yeah. It made this go from 4 hours to 5 minutes. Well, I want to try that.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, we've already hit our, time that we normally introduce our weekly challenge. So I was just going to interject and throw our weekly challenge out there. So again, we're talking about exploration and how it leads to growth. So for you, your weekly challenge is choose one topic or area that is unfamiliar to you, yet it interests you, and then do some research on it this week. Check it out, see what you come up with. See, and then once you do that, see how you can apply that to where you're trying to go, or your existing position where you are today. But I'll restate it. Choose one topic or area that is unfamiliar yet interests you and research it this. And remember, we have the free downloadable journal that you can go grab and get caught up. You can go back and, check out some previous episodes if you want to get caught up even more. And again, also remember we have the assessments out there, the assessments and the diagnostics for you to kind of see where you are today and what you might need to get going.
Yeah, and have fun with this one. It research something silly that you've never
Yeah,
thought about. How do fish breathe in the water? I can't. And see what you can actually learn from that,
right. Take away from it.
take away from it. And we could start unraveling that sweater right now, but we don't have time. But that would be kind of a cool thing to explore. I'm just going to stop right there because my mind's already going like, wow, this is so cool.
Right.
So,
Well,
um,
I was just gonna say, and that's the exciting part about it. You when you learn something and then you can apply it, or it's just like that kid that when they first start walking and they turn around and look at you like, I just took some steps. And then
right.
next thing you know, they're running and jumping and everything else. But it all started with that exploration. Can I walk? Can I move one foot in front of the other? And it gets me moving down the path. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, Joe, what would you like to? What are some final thoughts or nuggets that you'd like to leave our viewers and listeners with?
again, I say this. I've said this on quite a few of our podcasts. Just the whole idea of open your mind to the possibilities, and that's when that exploration takes flight into the unknown. I mean, I know part of it is that fear of the unknown, but even like Dave said, if you want to just get started with something silly or something that just not life changing, but something that you don't know about, I think it really, you get started with that whole idea of, wow, okay, what if this then? I just learned that. How can I apply that? What can I do with this new knowledge or new information that I gain? So I just encourage people to, again, think outside the box, think outside of your comfort zone, think outside the norm of things that you could potentially do or you could potentially go. Just have fun with it.
Mhm.
Really, again, go back into that childlike state of that curiosity, that exploration phase where you're learning new things. Again, I'm almost 62 years old and I still enjoy, learning new things, exploring, and get excited about how I can apply it and where I can.
Thank you for that, Joe. And I know this is kind of a last minute thing, but if you'd like to research something that interests you that you're unfamiliar with, and drop that topic or a little tidbit into our I just forgot what I was going to say. I fell off that train of thought. Jump back on. If you want to share what you researched on our LinkedIn profile, do that. That would be kind of cool to see what kind of things that you all are interested in that you're unfamiliar with, and
Right.
we'll start some dialogue with that. So we'd like to thank all of our viewers and listeners for returning to another episode of the Journeys of Not So Ordinary People podcast, your mid-career professional podcast. Again, if you're returning, thank you for your support. Like, subscribe, and share on Spotify, YouTube. We're on all the platforms. If you're new, we hope you enjoyed this episode, got something out of it. Again, like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, let's keep this thing going. Until next time, we want you to continue being your not so ordinary you.